There we go. So this little piece of paper right here, couldn't print mine out tonight, but this little piece of paper right here does a ton for you. It does an absolute ton because it can tell stories for you. It can give information out for you. Heck, it can even get you an interview in person, all while you're not there. Now, first impressions are important, and resumes are no different. Let's discover the secrets tonight to standing out for the rest of the pile, and let's get into it. Because ultimately, this can be a tool to help you land the next job you're wanting to get. And if you are wanting to improve for your job hunt, then I encourage you to reach out. I've created the Coding Career Fast Lane all to help accelerate your career wherever you're at in the process. First point for tonight, you've got to make it easy to skim. Now, I've got a couple points here. The first point is the font and the actual, well, let's start with the font. The font, if it is not readable font, if it is old school font, if it is font that just doesn't look appealing to the eye, right there is not going to be easy to skim. Something else you can do, and the second point here, is bold certain characteristics that you want to show off, whether it's your projects, your technologies. If there's something specific you want them to see, using bold and being able to grab their attention with their eye is absolutely, that's the only thing you really can do here. If you're not making this easy to skim and show the relevant information you want, well, we've got a problem. And the third thing in easy to skim here is you want, when they're skimming, you want to tell a story. So how I like to talk about this is you have experiences, you have side projects, and education, right? Those are the typical three things we will see on a resume. Now, sometimes you only have two of those, that's fine. You can't have only one, you have to have a minimum of two of those. But if we're going to have all three, we want to have it tell a story. We want it to have a logical flow for us. What do I mean by that? I mean, you want to show how your experiences, what you've been doing lately as a programmer in your most recent job, to the projects you were doing in between or still doing, and where it all started from in the beginning, whether it's a boot camp, whether it's self-taught or a degree, whatever it might be. You want a logical flow from where you're at now and the progressions you made over time. That is one of the easiest ways to skim that I've found when I'm reviewing a ton of resumes to see, like, is it worth calling them in? Because you see the progression of their career. Next point, skills. Let's make this really clear. Listing out your skills is extremely overrated. Don't do it. It doesn't help out like you think it does. It might help out for like a second to be like, oh, they have Node on here, so they're a Node developer or a Python developer. Yeah, that's a quick look, but really, when you just start listing a whole bunch of them out, it means nothing because I have no idea what you've used it with. I have no idea what technology or what project you've used it with. It doesn't help. So don't just go listing a bunch of them out. And I mean listing them in a section where it's just listing it out. But I do want you to use the skills in two ways. I want you to give out two skills in your resume, soft skills and technology skills. Let's start with soft skills first. When you review your job descriptions, you can, if you read between the lines of what these job descriptions are saying, you can generally see what type of soft skills they're looking for. So what I'm going to say to you then is, if you can see that, then I want you to talk about the soft skills you have when you're talking about your experiences, your side projects, your education. I want you to talk about the soft skills you gained from the projects you worked on, from the experiences you had. I want you to talk about those things. Don't just go list them off at the top. I want you to talk about them when you give the description of the experience. It's a great place to put your soft skills so someone reads them and goes, oh, they fit right in. They've got great teamwork. They clearly, in this project, had to do a lot of communication, and they've got great work ethic, and they would be a great asset to the team. That is a great time to show off your skills in the projects and the experiences, etc. Now, the same is similar for technology skills. Figure out what they're saying in the job description, what they're truly asking for, and then be sure you talk about it when you're talking about your experiences, because if you want someone to look over your resume and see they're a direct fit, it'll show clearly in your most recent job. You have the exact same technology they're looking for, and you're using it in the exact same capacity they would want you to use it in, and you did it and used it to grow your knowledge on side projects or node modules or npm packages that you've been building. See my point here? So skills can be very useful. Use soft skills and technology skills to your advantage when you're describing your experiences and your side projects. Third point leads right into this, the transition straight into projects. That's the third point here. Now, the projects you have, all right, we must talk about our skills here, much like we were just talking about adding technology skills. I just want to reiterate this so this is clear as day. We need to add a lot of the technology skills and talk about exactly what we're using and how we used it so people can get an understanding of what they're looking for. Second thing in this one, this is where I get away from skills in this part now, and I talk about, okay, if you don't have one, which is a very common problem, or you just started little baby ones and never done anything with it, that's fine. That's okay. We need to start a real one. We need to start one you're going to use and build on for a couple months at a time or 6 months, whatever it might be, to show off your level of code. Because I have had students time and time again say, I didn't get the job because they didn't feel my code was up to standard earlier in their interview process. Now, that's before we re-harden their portfolio, and there'll be a video about hardening your portfolio and kind of beefing it up. But when they start out, I've seen multiple students get rejected because they didn't have good projects. So if you don't have a good one, start one and make it a good one. Or the next tip I have for you on this is to join an open source project, especially if it's something like an Angular or a Node. They're always looking for people to help out. You don't have to join the team per se. You can just start helping out and being a contributor. And that way, when you go to a job interview and you can talk about how you're contributing to Angular and they use Angular, it's a win-win very quickly. Point number 4 here tonight, show your links off. Make sure they're easy, readable. Someone can type them in. Prime example that I've actually seen before is someone put bit.ly links, and I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to see who's going to their links, but they mistyped their bit.ly links on their resume. And in general, I think one time also bit.ly was down. So don't try to do that. Don't get all cutesy with it. Just put your links on there, make them readable. Let's talk about some of the links you need to have on there. You need to have your LinkedIn profile. Got to have it because you can see a lot of connections there, recommendations, a lot of other good information on there. Any presentations you've given, all right? So some people out there have had the fortune of getting to speak at conferences or events or wherever it might be. Your GitHub link, all right? Stack Overflow if you're an active contributor to Answers, or maybe your Upwork profile if you do a lot of freelance work. It's a great place. It's a great thing to show off because it shows your initiative outside of work. Sixth, NPM packages. Like one of the ones I built is Auto Parser. Love that package to death, and I love showing it off because it gets about, I think, 13,000 downloads a week. And on average this year, I think it's going to hit 350,000 downloads this year alone. It might actually hit more, but we'll see. We'll see. I only recently started getting 12,000 a week, but point is, like, that is something that is absolutely eye-grabbing, and like, oh, you get 50,000 or 500,000 downloads a year. This is interesting. And last but not least, your personal profile. If you have a website, your portfolio website, and you put it all on there, you've designed it nicely, let's make sure you show it off. All right, the fifth and final point, and this tip is very simple, and I hate having to say this, and I think I say that in a lot of my videos. I had to point out the obvious sometimes, and I hate it because I realize some people are like, oh, it's big. That. Trust me, you would not believe how many times people mess this one up, and that is, make sure you give me a one-page resume. Just don't mess around. Give me the concise information on one page, because as it is, I'm going to look it over for 10 seconds, and if I can't see something, if I can't skim read over it, if I don't see good projects, if I don't see good skills, if this isn't just popping off the page at me and it's on one page, we've got problems. But if you have 5 pages, we've got issues. I'm not even going to bother except for a good laugh. And that literally has happened where I've actually had a 5-pager resume sent to me. And literally 3 or 4 of the pages was talking about how they knew every property in CSS and they were listing them out, and it was a funny experience for some, horrific for others. And in all, you don't want more than one page, because if you can't tell a story in one page while you're not there, you're going to have a hard time conveying to people why your stories matter, why the information or why this information they should care about, because you've got 10 seconds. You've got to make it count. If you have them trying to flip through pages, it's not going to go well. So ultimately, your action items for tonight: review the areas or review some of these topics we talked about in the job description. You know, when you're looking for your technology skills, you're looking for your soft skills, make sure you know what the job description is looking for to see if you match up. Second, break them down so that you know exactly what they're looking for. Break down those job descriptions, because there's a lot of hidden meaning when you pull out the fluff and you look at all the words and what they're talking about, and like specifically the topics and the skills and the soft skills. You're going to see, like, one of the things that pops out all the time, people, is they start noticing a lot of these jobs want continuous integration, continuous deployment, but they don't outright say it. But when you break down all the technology they want, it's like, oh, they need me to know about CI/CD. And so that's one of the really interesting things that comes out of that step. And then assess your own. We're already kind of talking about that. And then last but not least, make your resume a one page with a good description, good links, good experiences, projects, and your education. Now, I get, as I say that, not everyone's going to have great experiences. Not everyone's going to have great education. One thing you can control is what you do for your soft skills and your technologies and your links, and ultimately your projects. So control what you can control. If you're watching this wondering that that's your problem, then do that. Control everything that you can. And ultimately, if you feel like you want help accelerating your career around your resume, around your job hunt, then sign up down below with the Coding Career Fastlane. It's a service I've built to help you accelerate your career, whether you're just starting out or you're advanced looking for that next job. I'll show and help you build a plan that will let you join the Fastlane. That's it for tonight's 5 tips for developers. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to leave them below, reach out, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Till next time, we'll see you later.